A commemoration of martyrs and witnesses of the faith.
Glad you could join us for our 7:30 news bulletin. My name is Fales Chizombe. First, the headlines.
The commemoration drew inspiration from the
In the 21st century at St. Paul outside Pope Leo XIV presides over a commemoration of martyrs and witnesses of the faith in the 21st century at St. Paul outside the wall. Make assures readiness for pause as Chairperson Talimanja, CEO Mpesi, inspect Lilongwe centers. Joint Operation Command Center launched for security decisions during elections. And in other news, WHO begins Ebola vaccinations in DRC as outbreak spreads.
We have these and other stories. Stay with us. Pope Leo XIV presided over a poignant commemoration of martyrs and witnesses of faith in the 21st century at the Papal Basilica of St. Paul outside the walls on September 14, 2025. The event brought together representatives from various Christian denominations and communities showcasing unity in their shared faith. We have a Vatican News report read by Patrick Pupa.
The commemoration drew inspiration from the Beatitudes in Matthew's Gospel, highlighting the courageous lives of martyrs who witnessed Christian values. Representatives from different churches and communities participated by reading prayers, underscoring the nature of the gathering. In his homily, Pope Leo XIV reflected on the feast of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross, celebrated on September 14. He spoke about the profound transformation of the cross from a symbol of torture to the means of our salvation, hope of Christians, and glory of martyrs. The Pope's words echoed the powerful message of redemption and love embodied by the cross. The Pope extended a warm welcome to members of the Orthodox churches, ancient Eastern churches, Christian communities, and ecumenical organizations. He referenced Pope John Paul, emphasizing that until death represents the deepest communion with Christ, who shed his blood for humanity. Pope Leo XIV acknowledged the pervasive presence of hatred in today's world, but contrasted it with the unwavering dedication of servants of the gospel and martyrs of the faith. These brave individuals demonstrated that love trumps over death, serving as beacons of hope and faith. The Pope urged attendees to contemplate the cross, where Jesus revealed God's true nature and find companion for humanity. By embracing the cross, Jesus took upon himself the world's hatred, identifying with humiliated and oppressed. Through his message, Pope Leo XIV invited all to reflect on the transformative power of Christ's love and enduring witness of martyrs. He encouraged a deeper commitment to faith, unity, and companion, echoing the spirit of exaltation of the Holy Cross. For Luntha News, this is Patrick Pupa.
The Catholic Commission for Justice and Peace (CCJP), the governance arm of the Malawi Conference of Catholic Bishops, has called on eligible Malawians to turn out in large numbers to cast their votes in tomorrow's tripartite elections. In a statement released on Sunday, September 14, 2025, CCJP reminded registered voters that participating in the polls is not only a constitutional right, but also a sacred duty that contributes to the common good of the nation. Emmanuel Chocha has filed this report.
With only hours to go before voting begins, the Commission has stressed the importance of civic responsibility. Speaking with Luntha Television, CCJP National Coordinator Louis Nsiadungu urged citizens to approach the ballot with concise, courage, and wisdom. He added that the future and directions of the nation depend on the quality of leadership that emerges from the vote.
We from Chisanko, CCJP, we have produced a statement calling upon all registered voters to come out on this particular day, 16th September 2025, to come out and vote for the candidates that they would want them to hold leadership at presidential, parliamentary, and local governance structures. So the aim of the statement basically is to ensure that more people come out to vote on this day so that at the end of the day, legitimacy of this electoral process is established.
Malawi stands at crossroads. Our economy, governance, and peace would depend on the choices Malawians make at the ballot box tomorrow. The Commission further emphasized that voting is a moral obligation rooted in the values of justice, peace, and dignity of every citizen. It urged all stakeholders, including political parties, to ensure a peaceful and credible electoral process. CCJP cause comes as the country blesses for one of its most consequential elections in recent history, with millions of Malawians expected to exercise their democratic right at the polls. For Luntha News, in Lilongwe, this is Emmanuel Chocha.
Malawi Electoral Commission Chairperson Annabel Ntalimanja assured Malawians that the Commission is ready for tomorrow's polling, despite minor delays in dispatching materials to some centers in Lilongwe. On 15th September 2025, MEC Chairperson Annabel Ntalimanja and Chief Elections Officer Andrew Mpesi, accompanied by their team, inspected Dzombwe TDC Constituency Tally Center and 2 polling stations in Namitete area. We have more in this report filed by Gift Kalonga.
The 2 officials, together with their team, visited Mzobwe TDC Constituency Tally Center in Msundwe and 2 polling stations in the Namitete area in Lilongwe. Speaking after the exercise, Ntalimanja said the preparations for the elections were progressing well, despite minor delays in dispatching materials for some centers. Ntalimanja added that MEC expects all polling stations across the country to complete pre-checks of materials by the end of the day to ensure smooth voting from 6 a.m. tomorrow. Ntalimanja also noted that preparations at the National Tally Center were nearly complete, with full operations expected to be ready by polling day, including media facilities.
In terms of readiness, we are prepared to go to the polls tomorrow. Of course, we have a few polling stations that are still yet to receive their materials, but the plan is that they will receive by this morning, because there was a delay last night. Remember, we had indicated that by last night, we would have dispatched all polling stations, but we were not able to do that. But will be done by this morning because they are all within Lilongwe.
During the inspection, Chief Elections Officer Andrew Mpesi raised concern after discovering that some monitors had been misinformed to vote at their places of registration before proceeding to their designated polling stations. He faulted the directive and emphasized that monitors must vote only at their designated polling stations. Meanwhile, MEC has since expressed dissatisfaction with the progress made so far and pledged to ensure that all systems are ready for the credible election. For Luntha News, this is Gift Kalonga.
A joint operations command center has been launched at the National Police Headquarters in Lilongwe, where the Election Security Task Force will coordinate and issue commands for security actions during the elections. The task force, comprised of Malawi Police Service, Malawi Defense Force, and Malawi Prison Service, will be using advanced technology which has been donated by UNDP to follow all the security-related activities on Tuesday. Police Inspector General Marin Yolam says the Joint Command Center is the testament of police's readiness to ensuring peace, security, and stability as Malawians vote in a credible elections. Robert Edward reports.
This is not a tally center, as other social media platforms are alleging. This is where all security decisions will be coming from for action by police and army officers on the ground during the election. The joint operation, chaired by Deputy Inspector General of Police, will be aided by advanced technology which include TV sets, drones, cameras, iPads, and mobile phones, all donated by United Nations Development Program UNDP to the tune of over 360 million kwacha. Speaking during the launch of the command center, Inspector General of Police Marin Yoram says the command centers show preparedness by the security institutions to provide robust security to all, and that the command center will confront any security challenge during the election period as ably done during the campaign, which has largely been peaceful.
This is an operation center that overlooks the operation of the security agencies. There will be no figures, no tallying of figures at this center. What it means is we want to have real-time information and make decisions pertaining to our operations. I have heard speculations elsewhere that we are having a data center at headquarters. This is not a data center. It's an operation center. For us, we always do that, only that this time it has been enlarged because of the equipment that we have received from our partners. But this center has always opened during critical operations of this country.
United Nations Development Program UNDP resident representative to Malawi, Fenella Frost, described their support as a continued commitment to helping Malawi exercise their democratic right. She says a well-coordinated security force is essential to ensuring continued stability and even during power transfer, as witnessed in previous instances.
We have been supporting from a technical perspective the setting up of the task force, but our role in supporting the elections has really been on the electoral preparation side. So the UN does not have any operational role on polling day. The support has really been in providing advice, sharing best practice also from other countries, including countries in the African region. What I'm very proud of is to serve in a country like Malawi, which has a very strong demonstration of its ability to express its democratic values in a peaceful and transparent way. And I think one of the great richnesses of this wonderful country.
In few hours from now, Malawians will cast their decider ballot in electing a president, member of parliament, and ward councillors for a 5-year period mandate. For Luntha, this is Robert Edward.
Remember, you're watching Luntha News, coming to you live from Bishop Navy Media Center in Area 2, Lilongwe. Before we proceed, another look at the headlines.
Pope Leo XIV presides over commemoration of martyrs and witnesses of the faith in the 21st century at St. Paul outside the wall. MEC assures readiness for polls as Chairperson Talimanja, CEO Mpesi inspect Lilongwe centers. Joint Operation Command Center launched for security decisions during elections. And in other news, WHO begins Ebola vaccinations in DRC as outbreak spread.
Moving forward, healthy experts have raised concern over the growing burden of non-communicable diseases in Malawi, warning that aging and unhealthy lifestyle choices are major drivers. Speaking in an interview, Francis Nkwenembera, NCD coordinator at Kamuzu Central Hospital, said aging itself it is a key risk factor for diseases such as hypertension and diabetes. Charite Chilanga has more in this report.
Nkwenembela says aging significantly increases the risk of NCDs. He urges older people to monitor their health through regular screenings and community information sessions.
When someone is aging, the body is weak, like the blood vessels, they become stiff. As such, let's say blood pressure will always increase because the blood has now to move fast, because now there's a weakening of the blood vessels. We have some screening programs in the even in small hospitals as well as in the communities where we have trained some health surveillance assistants to do the screening, so they're able to check the blood pressure, they're able to check the blood sugar. So all the elderly in the community, they have access to the screening programs.
In a separate interview, NCD clinical mentor Felix Kaliza emphasized the scale of the challenge. He noted that about 35% of Malawians have some form of NCD, including hypertension, highlighting the seriousness of the program.
One has to engage himself or herself in vigorous physical activities, preferably 5 times a week, more than 30 minutes, and make sure they have sweated. That's the standard of physical activity. People should avoid alcohol, should avoid smoking if we are to control hypertension. There are issues of stress. People should make sure they know how to manage their stress. It should not prolong, otherwise it will dispose them to high blood pressures.
Both experts called for stronger public awareness and regular screening, stressing that prevention is the most effective way to reduce the growing burden of NCDs in the country. Currently, organizations such as the Malawi Network of Older Persons Organizations Manepo are expanding NCD screening in Mashinga, Balaka, and Zomba. Health assistants are visiting villages to provide free blood pressure and blood sugar checks while educating communities on healthier lifestyles.
Agriculture expert Felix Jumbe has sounded the alarm on the ongoing fuel shortage, warning that it is crippling all sectors of the Malawian economy and threatening to bring national progress to a halt. Making the remarks as the country continues to struggle with long fuel queues, Jumbe pointed out that exporters, farmers, and transporters are among the most hit as the shortage limits their ability to move goods and sustain livelihoods. Judy Forgan has filed a report read in our studios by Gift Kalonga.
Jumbe's concern comes at a time when many industries are already counting heavy losses, while citizens are forced to endure daily disruptions due to unavailability of fuel. Later in his remarks, Jumbe explained that Malawi's dependency on cross-border supplies has become even more difficult, as sourcing fuel from Mozambique demands foreign currency, which remains scarce.
It's difficult. I think it poses a very big, difficult challenge to every sector in Malawi. Without fuel, there's no movement. If you are exporting things, it means you can have a truck that is loaded and it's going either to South Africa, but you will never have the fuel. Unless some people now are thinking of maybe you fuel in Mozambique again.
The remarks underscored the urgency of addressing the crisis, which has left both businesses and households bracing for further losses as the shortage continues.
And in international news, The World Health Organization has begun vaccinating frontline health workers and contacts of infected individuals in response to a new Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of the Congo's Kasai province. An initial 400 doses of the Ebola vaccine have been delivered to Bulape, the epicenter of the outbreak, from a national stockpile of 2,000 doses. We have an African News report read by Patrick Pupa.
The International Coordinating Group on Vaccine Provision has approved the shipment of an additional 45,000 doses to help contain the spread. The outbreak, declared in early September, is the DRC's first in 3 years. The virus, which thrives in the country's dense tropical forest, has so far resulted in 32 suspected cases, 20 confirmed, and 16 deaths, according to the Health Ministry in Kinshasa. WHO Program Area Manager Patrick Otim warned that the outbreak could expand, especially after a case was confirmed 70 kilometers from Bulape. He highlighted a moderate risk of cross-border spread, particularly to neighboring Angola. Otim also emphasized the urgency of the situation, warning that delays in response could make containment far more difficult. Aid workers have expressed concern over reduced foreign assistance and weakened international support structures. For Luntha News, this is Patrick Pupa.
That's about what we had time for in this edition of the news. Before we leave you, another look at the headlines.
Pope Leo XIV presides over commemoration of martyrs and witnesses of the faith in the 21st century at St. Paul outside the wall. MEC assures readiness for pause as Chairperson Talimanja, CEO Mpesi inspect Lilongwe centers. Joint Operation Command Center launched for security decisions during elections. And in other news, WHO begins Ebola vaccinations in DRC as outbreak spreads.
You have been with me, Fales Chizombe. Thank you so much for keeping me company and keeping Luntha TV. And goodbye.